Let's see action. Let's see people. Let's see freedom. Let's see who cares. Take me with you when you leave me. And my ship behind the stairs. I have learned no to burn me. Avatar has worn my feet. Take me with you. Let me see you. Time and life can breathe. Everything is nothing is. Lead the people, hold the answers, break the fences, nothing is. Let's see action, let's see people, let's see freedom, let's see freedom. Let's see people, let's see who cares.
Hey, welcome back. It is Eric Arnold here in the sports barn on this Tuesday, the 2nd of November. It's election day here in the sports barn. It's Maction Day here in the sports barn, the kickoff of the greatest holiday season this calendar's ever known. Let's see Maction. Let's see people. Let's see who cares. Take me with you. Maction. I played a cover there of one of my favorite songs, not just one of my favorite Who songs, the great The Who, not just the great Who tune, but one of my favorite tunes of all time. And someday I'll tell you the story behind that, but it won't be today. So, what do we got going on here for you in this video? We're going to recap our weekend, our last college football weekend. We've got some talk about the college football playoff. They're going to release, I guess, the first top 6, if you will, today. Then we got the World Series. Then finally, we got some action, which is what you want. We got 2 picks here for the midweek games in college football. And then we'll have another video for you before Friday for the other 20-some games. It'll be on Saturday, for Friday and Saturday. So, Maction. You know, now for those of you out there who are going, what's Maction? I don't understand. Well, okay, welcome to sports. That's a great thing we have here in this country where we play games with balls mostly and we bet on them. And there's one played in college called football. And one of the conferences called the Mid-America Conference decided, wouldn't it be great, since our games are never on TV and nobody gives a shit about us, what if we played on Tuesdays and Wednesdays? Nobody plays on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. If we wait till after baseball's over, we don't have anybody to compete against except early season hockey and basketball. So what would you rather watch? A Division I college football game that you can bet on, or, you know, Game 7 of the interminably long and mostly meaningless NBA regular season? Give me some action. So that's where the Mid-American Conference coined their phrase, Maction, which I think is a masterstroke, and we love us some action here in the Sports Barn. Okay, so over the weekend, another pretty good weekend, 14 wins, 10 losses, brings our total record to 80 wins, 66 losses. That's just a hair below 55%. Yeah, here I'll, go ahead here, run up, the tally from last week. We were on the wrong end of that goddamn Clemson Florida State game, which I'm sure you've seen it. The ridiculous last play of the game where it almost looked like Florida State was trying to score points for Clemson. That's how bad it was. It's like, look, you can't just throw laterals 70 yards the wrong way. You got to try to, at some point, move forward. I mean, it's one of those players has to take the ball and say, I am going to attack the other team's goal line. You know, you're never going to score if you just, oh, well, I'm going to throw it back to that guy and hope he does something miraculous with it. You know, somebody's got to take it on their shoulders and say, I'm going to be the man, and I'm going to break some tackles, and I'm going to attack their goal line. Well, nobody did that, of course, and the Florida State scored for Clemson, and we lost. All the people saying, that was an all-timer. That was the worst bad beat of all time. I've seen a lot worse than that, believe me. So that's not even close to the worst bad beat of all time. But we were on the wrong end of that. We should have had a better record than we did. But 14-10, yeah, we'll take it. We'll take it. We're on track. 55%. That'll, we're trying to strive to be a little better than Dave Parker. I'm trying to, maybe be Roberto Clemente. Get ourselves into the Hall of Fame of handicapping here. But it's a work in progress. We're working. Let's see, what else we got here? All right, so I put up some notes here. Believe it or not, I actually took some notes. So the committee's going to come out with their top 6 now today. And normally, I think this is just a pointless exercise until the last one where they tell you who's in the playoff. However, I think you can divine certain things perhaps by what they put out early, where they're taking a public stance. Now, they can always change their mind. They can always do that. But at a certain point, on certain issues, they've made a public statement, and what's going to change their mind then? I guess future games. I guess what I'm trying to say is, where are they going to put Cincinnati? That's a key question here. Cincinnati, for the most part, is what it is right now. They've already gone through the tough part of their schedule. They've got nothing but basically cupcakes. Sorry, Houston. Left on their schedule, and that's it. Cincinnati is what it is. It's the AP number 2 ranked team. Where are they going to put these guys? There's rumors out there that they're going to look at them and just say, you know what? They're simply not good enough. They're simply not good enough. And they're going to not put them in the top 4. I don't think that's going to happen. Now, hear me out. I think it's entirely possible that at the end of the day, we have an undefeated Cincinnati and they are not in the playoff. The committee just drops them out. But I don't think they're going to do that in the initial rankings. They're going to wait till, if that happens, they're going to wait till the very last ranking to do it. Otherwise, there's going to be a riot. I mean, are you kidding me? If I'm Luke Fickell, I am going to the nearest microphones I can find, and I'm screaming as loudly and as longly as I can if Wednesday morning comes around and we ain't in that playoff if I'm Cincinnati. Say, wait a minute. If November 3rd comes around and I'm read the newspaper and they say the committee doesn't think Cincinnati's done enough to justify being in the playoff. It's like, well, shit. I've already beaten Notre Dame at Notre Dame and nobody else has done that. And I'm undefeated and I don't have any more great teams on my schedule I can beat. What do I do? About all he can do is just, whatever, whoever he's got left, Temple, East Carolina, whatever, is just try to run one up at 100-0, as if that would matter. Basically what the committee would be telling him, the world, that, look, you're never getting in Cincinnati. It doesn't matter what you do. It just doesn't matter what you do. We ain't putting you in. Sorry. So I think Cincinnati will be in the playoff. six, or the top four that are going to be released today. I do think they will be in there. I don't know that that portends they will be in there at the very end. Some of these others, Ohio State, Michigan State, they play each other. Michigan, these teams could play each other. So some of that's going to resolve itself. Another one that I thought, well, let's see what they do with these guys is Alabama. Alabama has a loss. So where are they? I mean, if they're in the top four with a loss, that pretty much tells us that if they win out, certainly they'll be in. That tells us if Georgia loses to Alabama in the SEC title game, they both get in. If Alabama's down the rankings a little bit, maybe now the SEC, Georgia loses to Alabama, maybe Georgia doesn't get in. I don't know. But I expect Alabama will be ranked in the top 2 or 3, even with their loss. But, that's just a thought. So we'll just have to see. That's about all I thought that was important there about the college football rankings coming out tonight. Let's talk World Series. It's been a pretty good World Series. I'm disappointed by just, it just doesn't matter anymore, does it? The World Series is almost like an afterthought. I had to ask a bartender, and this was a real bartender. This was a man. It wasn't like some 27-year-old girl who is vaguely aware there's this thing called sports. This was an actual man over the age of 50 who was bartending, and I had to ask him to put the World Series on. It was like, and it was in a bar, no less, that had all sorts of pictures of Joe DiMaggio on the walls. It's like, where has our history gone? What on earth? Nobody plays baseball anymore. No one even knows baseball exists. It's just kind of sad. But at any rate, we're coming down to the home stretch here, and it looks like this could be a real classic of a World Series, with the Braves still holding a 3-2 lead, needing to win one more. They still need one more. And both these games are in Houston. So, where are we at with this? One of the most significant things I think happened over the weekend, and I didn't get to watch the game 3 extensively. I caught snippets of it here. I was actually in a casino, if you can believe that. So I'm kind of, playing some cards, occasionally glancing over at the TV to keep track. Here I look up, and the Braves are changing pitchers, and I'm like, wait, what? I'm looking, what? The guys threw 76 pitches, and they haven't got a hit off him yet, and they're taking him out? What? And it was just like, and I just read an article on ESPN just trying to, it's like, okay, I'm in a casino. I don't know what happened here. I have no idea. Maybe this guy's got a hangnail. Maybe he pulled a muscle. Maybe he started on short rest. Maybe, I don't know what the fuck. But he's coming out. So apparently he came out because he came out. The manager just figured, well, I think you've lost it. And I judge this based on my gut. In other words, they don't have any hits. They don't have any runs. You've walked a couple guys, but yeah, I'm taking you out. Now, in fairness, they did win the game. They did hold the. I think they shut the Astros out in that game and won it 2-0. So, the manager, I guess, was right. Now, here's where he's wrong. He was right, but ultimately he won the battle, and he's probably going to lose the war. That's how that's going to go. Why? He just shattered the confidence of that pitcher. The kid's name's Ian Anderson. I just went through this drill with a buddy of mine who, he's, I'll call this guy Motorcycle Bill. That's not his real name. My good friends know who I'm talking about. Bill doesn't live in the real world. Bill lives in his own world. And Bill Bill likes baseball, believe it or not. He and I played on a lot of the same teams when we were young, and he was a good pitcher. Bill occasionally picks up baseball again, and here he finds out that the Braves have a good young pitcher named Ian Anderson, who he thinks, making the joke that that's the lead singer for Jethro Tull. The guy plays a flute. And he's making this joke to an underling of his at the factory saying, Jethro Tull. He's like, what? Who? Who's Jethro Tull? It's like, oh my God. See, that's what we have to deal with when we get over 50, is that you younger people just don't know anything. You just don't know anything. You think, and what makes it worse is you think you do, but you simply don't. So that's the terrible thing, is that we have to explain things to you over and over and over again, and then you blow us off. Yeah, whatever, boomer, I know everything. So anyway, Ian Anderson gets yanked. Now he's going to have to come back tomorrow as the Game 7 pitcher. If the Braves don't get it done tonight, he's the Game 7 pitcher, and he's not going to be right. He's been great so far in his postseason history, but with that kind of pressure thrown on him, hey, here you go. We haven't won a World Series since '95. We're blowing a 3-1 lead. You're our last hope, Obi-Wan. 23 years old. Here you go. And by the way, we don't believe you can do it. Because if we did, we wouldn't have yanked you throwing a no-hitter after 76 pitches. We all don't believe in you. I couldn't write that in the sky any bigger than if I tried. We don't believe in you, Ian Anderson. That's what the manager's saying to him. So his confidence, I'm thinking, has got to be shattered. And so the Braves, it all comes down to tonight for the Braves. If they're going to win it, it's got to be tonight. So they've got Max Fried on the mound. And, he's probably their best pitcher. I saw somebody speculating, well, we would like to have Morton. No, you wouldn't. I'd rather have Fried. I mean, Morton, I don't know what this Charlie Morton fetish is. Where everybody wants Charlie Morton. The guy's been the most popular mediocre pitcher in the last 5 years. I don't know of anyone else that's gotten such mileage out of a mediocre career. I don't know. I guess you hang around long enough, you become popular. But Charlie Morton's out. He's hurt. He got hit by a comeback ground ball, broke his leg, and he's gone. So now you got Fried. And you're going to need him to be fantastic tonight. He has got to get deep into the game. He's got to hold that lineup of the Astros down. He's got to hold it down such that the Braves get and hold a lead deep into the game. If he can do that, then I think the Braves have a decent chance. If he can hold them down to, say, 1 run, maybe the Braves get 3 or 4 off of the parade of relievers the Astros are going to throw out there. Maybe get a 3-1 lead, take it into the 7th. Now you get a chance. I don't think that's going to happen. Fried was up against this exact scenario last year. The Braves had a 3-2 lead going back to LA in the NLCS. Chance to upset the fantastic Dodgers. Chance to go to the World Series. And he couldn't get it done. He couldn't get it done. He gave up 3 runs over 6 innings. Simply not good enough. And if he does that tonight, that simply won't be good enough. So that's what I expect. I just expect he'll be okay, but he's not going to be good enough. I think you're looking pretty good right now with the Astros. The prices are relatively short. 130, minus 130 I saw. Right now I think you're probably getting value with the Astros. Just don't, the lineup's deeper than the Braves. I think the Astros are starting to swing their bats. breaking out for 9 runs there in Game 5. Bregman hadn't had a hit all series. He had a big hit in Game 5. I think that guy's now a threat. Alvarez seems to hit better at home. He hasn't had many hits at all this series. I think there's a lot of guys in that Houston lineup that are yet to be heard from. And then you got to get past Altuve. That guy just strikes me. One of my most memorable, of course, World Series was 1993. Our magical Phillies team, the John Kruk, Darren Dalton, Mitch Williams, Kurt Schilling, the fantastic out of nowhere 93 Phillies. And they faced the Blue Jays, and at some point, I think it was probably in the middle of, say, the 7th or 8th inning of Game 4, it just dawned on me. It's like, we can't beat these guys. We can't get these guys out. And that's the feeling when I see Altuve up there. I just see Paul Molitor all over again. It's like, I can't get this guy out. I can't get this guy out. I can't throw him anything that he's not going to handle. So I just think that the Braves, tall task for these guys, and I don't think the only thing that makes me think that there's hope for the Braves is Dusty Baker is in that other dugout, and that dude has never won anything. And I just keep thinking that the Dusty Baker jinx at some point will somehow jump out and grab the Astros and drag them down. But I don't know. I mean, even Dusty might manage to get through this one, because I think the Astros should be strongly favored here to win the next 2 games. Maybe even more strongly than -130. At any rate, that's my thoughts on the World Series. So, hey, let's have some action, right? What do we got here? All right, there you go. Some action. All right, Ball State. The model loves this game. I'm looking at it going, oh, man. I mean, I don't know. Akron seems to be a hit-and-miss team. Really, the MAC this year has been really, up and down. You got teams that one week play fantastic, then the next week they get beat by 6 touchdowns. Looking at these two teams, it looks to me like Ball State is kind of at their peak at the moment. This is a veteran team. It looks like the coach has been there, I don't know, it looks like 5 years, maybe 6. And this seems to be his, inaugural class, if you will. Coach comes in, and now he brings in all his group of freshmen that he goes out and recruits himself. That's his first class of his guys. Well, now his guys have matured, and a guy from the MAC, his guy is not going to go pro early because it's the MAC. Those guys just ain't that good. So his guys are all seniors now. Some of them are 5th-year seniors because of the COVID year. So he's got a real veteran core there of dudes at Ball State. And then Akron, they've got a relatively new coach, and I think he's got mostly freshmen. So it's an interesting mix here, and I guess the thinking is that Ball State's just going to overpower these guys. I watched some of their highlights against Eastern Michigan, and who's better than Akron? And Ball State pretty well controlled the line of scrimmage. I was satisfied that they seemed to be able to run the ball consistently when they wanted to or needed to. They had some scrungy freshman running back who looked like, he broke out of an 80s band or something. But, he did business. He was doing some business. So, I don't know. It seems like a steep hill, 20 points. But the model likes it, so what the hell, we'll throw it in there. Model says, well, don't worry about it. You got 56, 57% chance of covering this one, so don't worry. Okay, so we'll take Ball State. And then Billy Napier, we finally got right with Billy Napier last week. We've been waiting for him to whack somebody, and he finally did it. So now we're going to hope that he comes right back and does it again, as he, there's another job out there for you. Although, frankly, I think the TCU job is probably beneath Napier. I doubt if they offered it to him, he'd take it. Hey, maybe he would. That might be one of those deals there where if he's not getting he's still young enough where he could go to TCU and pile up some real big Big 12 points for 4 years or so, and then he could go to the USC job, or then he could go anywhere. So maybe he would look at a TCU job like that. But yeah, Georgia State, I think they're just I think Lafayette is significantly better than they are. We'll take Lafayette. So those are our two picks there, college football-wise, midweek. Hey, Election Day. And like I said, do whatever you want on Election Day except one thing. Don't vote for Democrats. Don't vote for Democrats. I don't care if your brother's running. I don't care if your mother's running as a Democrat. You don't vote for her. You can't vote for her. She's disqualified herself. She's a Democrat. We're in this bad spot because the Democrats have put us here, for Christ's sake. So you can't vote for Democrats. Please don't vote for Democrats. You don't have to tell anyone. Just get into the booth and just not do it. Just don't do it. You can lie to your Democrat friends. Oh, absolutely. I voted straight Democrat ticket. They don't know you're lying to them. What do you care? All you have to do is just not vote for Democrats. There's a huge race in Virginia, this governor's race, which is, as I can't remember if this was in a censored video that did not get to anyone, but the only hope to stop this Democrat ridiculous crap that's being rammed down our throat, vaccination mandates, unemployment, empty shelves, gas at $5 a gallon. The only chance to stop this is to frighten these people in charge, to make them think that they're going to lose their jobs next midterm election. And if the governor of Virginia, we have basically two guys. The Democrats are basically the incumbents. They have a weird deal there where a sitting governor can't run for re-election. You can only get 4 years at a time in Virginia. So the dude that's running in Virginia is named McAuliffe. He was the governor some years ago. He couldn't run for re-election. Some other guy took his next 4 years. Now he's coming back to get his next 4 years. He should be a shoo-in. It's a Democrat state. But the Republicans close in the polls. In fact, some polls show the Republican ahead. If the Republican would win, that would be very significant. Very, very significant. That would possibly be enough to scare some of these moderate Democrats in the Congress to maybe slowing down a little bit with some of this craziness that's being rammed down our throats. Gotta hope that happens. You just gotta hope that happens. Will it happen? Probably not. It's a Democrat state. I don't know that the Democrats are embarrassed by what's going on. They should be, but I don't know that they are. I don't know that there are a lot of Democrats that are running around going, I made a mistake. Gas is, $4 a gallon. Gross beef is $10 a gallon or a pound. I made that up. It's more like $6, depending where you go. Hey, yeah, not my fault. Certainly not that my Democrat leaders. It's not their fault. No, none of this is our fault. No, this is just shit happens. No, the Democrats aren't embarrassed. So I'm really thinking the Democrat candidate in Virginia will probably win. I mean, it's just a heavily Democrat state now. It never used to be, but hey, you hire millions and millions and millions of government workers and they all live in Virginia. Which way do you think they're going to vote? So Cross your fingers. Hope the governor in Virginia, you hope the Republican pulls through. That would be an earthquake. That would be a political earthquake that might change the trajectory of the way things are going in this country. I don't think it'll happen, but it could. It could. Sports-wise, we'll have another college football video for you coming up probably by Friday. So let's keep this good season we got going. Let's keep it going, and we'll talk to you later. Eric Arnold signing off.